Yeah, so I guess to get an understanding of who's out there, maybe if you put in the chat the sort of size of your business. So maybe number of employees in the company would be a great indicator. If you're just a one-man band, a small independent business, then just put one. What sort of numbers are we getting on the chat, Pete? Any responses on the chat, Pete? People still trying to find it? I've lost you, Pete. I can't hear you anymore.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back.
Excellent. So we've got a few numbers, 4, 2, 2, 6, sort of running through at the moment.
Great. So sort of smaller businesses, which is perfect, because that's kind of where I work best and what I'm most used to and familiar with. I've never worked in sort of big corporate organisation settings with hundreds and hundreds of employees. So the smaller businesses is what I do. So my name's Alex Smith. I'm Managing Director of Nettle of Weymouth. Nettle is a little bit like a franchise. We've got 170 studios all around the country, and these are web design studios. We get involved with digital marketing and such like. And today we're just going to run through some of the really cool tools that I've been using in business. And hopefully you can apply some of these tools to your company. And I'll show you what they do and how it works. So before we move on, I just want to talk about Support Dorset. Support Dorset was an initiative that I came up with back in March when COVID hit us. Being a web designer, I thought, right, how can I kind of give back to the community? What can I do using my skill set? So I knocked up this pretty quickly, this website, and the sort of the heart behind the website really was to support our community, get businesses donating to local charities. So obviously a lot of people weren't commuting anymore, so this website provided a platform for those people who you could spend your commuting cash on local charities like Weldmar and People First Dorset. So there's a couple of charities on there, and then we've got a business directory with basically it's a free business listing, a free showcase for you to get your website out there. So for example, the Good Life. This is actually a guy that's invented a board game, a classic family board game, so a very non-digital thing, but you can read up about some of the businesses that are operating in Dorset. Hopefully you find that useful. If you want to join, as I say, it's free. Just go to submit an organisation and you can pop in some details there with all your links to all your social media, YouTube, stuff like that, how you're adapting during COVID, so any amended business hours or things like that. Submit that and it'll open up an email, so you can attach a logo there as well, and we'll get you added to the site. But yeah, we've found that the site's been quite successful. There's about 60 to 70 now, different businesses all in Dorset that are all on board. So check it out. That's supportdorset.uk. Moving on from that. So obviously a bit of background about me. I've been in business for, I've basically studied business studies at school. My father ran a printing business, so it was straight in, hands-on, all areas of the business for me at a very young age. When I was probably about 8 years ago, I left the family firm, set up on my own, and I was basically still doing a bit of printing, but harnessing the power of eBay, e-commerce, online with Amazon, and built up a successful business that now sort of we employ 6 full-time staff in that business, and it's going from strength to strength, and adopting all these technological changes and these tools, these systems throughout the business has really helped us to grow that business, that e-commerce business. So very much the focus is always digital. Hashtag digital Dorset, I think, is what we're using. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pete. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the customer journey, how that's changed over the sort of last sort of 15 years, really. So the state of local. Hopefully you can see the slides. Just want to know what are your business goals at the moment. It'd be good if Pete could relay that on the chat. It would just be good to find out what people's business goals are.
You're absolutely right with the hashtags and at Digital Dorset to follow us on Twitter as well, Alex, just to get another plug in. So just waiting for some comments to come through.
Just trying to gauge where people are at, so then I can tailor this this session this afternoon to people's individual needs, really.
So Gillian said survival.
Survival.
I think that's probably very apt and topical at the moment.
Yeah.
Growth and marketing from Andy.
Great. Lovely, Andy. Any others on there, Pete?
Not yet, no.
Okay, that's fine. So how exactly has marketing changed in the last 15 years or so? Obviously, Google has been a huge player in that place. And if we look at some of the stats, they're quite incredible, really. So if you look at a buying decision, 93% of shoppers have used an online resource of some description to help them come to that buying decision. And 83% of shoppers who visited a store and used online search sort of before going. That study came back from the IPSOS Google study, February 2019, those stats. So when we talk about buying decisions, what are we talking about? So traditionally, a buying model, if you wanted to purchase something, you have this first stage, which is the stimulus. You're interested in that product or whatever, and then you've got what we call the first moment of truth, and that's like a conversion stage where you transact, you take my money, and then you've got this second moment, the truth after, which is a very emotional phase, and that's about sort of whether you like it or whether you don't like it. So the modern day equivalent of this has now got a new stage involved, and Google and digital is the game changer here. So that's Google popping in that after that stimulus stage, and what that's about, if I just click on, is this new stage. Google have coined the expression zero moment of truth. So some of you out there may have heard this, and what it basically means is that people will be interested in a product. They'll turn to Google, they'll turn to online digital marketing or a website or something like that, and they'll basically Google it and find out what other people are saying about it before they come to that conversion stage where they're going to spend their money and be completely convinced. And then we've still got that second moment of truth, and that's kind of a feeder, and that contributes to the next person in that customer journey, to their decision-making process. So this is great, because this means reviews are just now so powerful, and we look at do companies stand out in people's making sort of decisions, really. So we look at people's listings, how well are they listed, and I'm going to demonstrate some of the tools that we use to sort of track all this for a small business. But before we go on to that, I just want to talk about that customer journey in a little bit more detail. The customer journey is made up of 5 sort of component stages, really. And the first stage is going to be awareness. So generating that interest. It starts with that awareness: television, radio ads, billboards. So there's lots of different methods that you can get your product or service offering out there, and marketing it plays a big part of that. So have a think about what you're currently doing to generate that awareness and interest for your new clients and also for your existing clients. That's quite vital in this whole customer journey. The next stage is being found and standing out. So findability. Can all these potential customers find you very easily? Do you have a Google My Business listing? Are you, because that's where people are going to. So if you're not on Google My Business, you're really missing a trick, because there's a lot of activity coming as a result of of that platform. So make sure you get on all these platforms, as many business listing sites as possible. The more places you are, the easier it is basically for people to find you. The next stage is obviously reputation. So that again is that zero moment of truth. People looking you up, so visiting your website, reading your reviews, going on Google or other directory sites and seeing your ratings, seeing how quickly you're responding to buyers' feedback. It's such a powerful tool to adjust your product and adjust your service offering if you just listen to your customers. And some of that feedback may be negative, but if you're coming in there promptly with replies about how you're rectifying things or improving things, you can really drive your business forward. Obviously, we've got the fourth step there. That's the conversion, the sale. So that's another huge key area of this customer journey. And online is where it's at now. COVID is here. People can't quite get to stores, especially if they're in a lockdown. You're going to have to do it all online. So have you got a website that people can buy a service from you or buy a product from you? In sort of 2020, it's vital. Your business needs to be online. So the final stage is advocacy. So that's what we say about social media comes in really powerfully here. Social proof of people enjoying your products, and that's that third moment of truth, which then helps people in the reputation stage later on. So there's a lot of investment has to be made in a business in those early stages. So I'm just going to show you some of the things that you may be doing at the moment. So yeah, we've got that research stage, word of mouth, purchase stage, website, online bookings, and you could have salespeople that are involved in that conversion process. Social on the end there, experience. So blogs are a fantastic way of doing that, and having a blog will also help with awareness because it's going to get you more attraction. So a lot of these things kind of interconnect quite nicely. Hopefully that all makes sense. Do pop a message on the comments if you've got any questions regarding that. So it's important as a small business to win each step of this stage, and I'm just going to demonstrate why that's important. So we've got business A and business B. So business A are doing fantastic awareness. They're pumping loads of money into their Google ads. They've made sure all their listings are there, and they're dealing with their reputation. So they've got a certain amount of feedback, but maybe they've slipped up. Maybe they've got a couple of bad reviews, and another business has come along. They've not done any of the awareness, so that's business B. They've not done any of the sort of findability, reputation. They've not really worried too much about those first three stages. So what we often find is the consumers, as they're going to sort of make their way along this funnel, they'll get to this reputation bit and they'll think, oh, right, there's a negative review there or a negative feedback. And in turn, what happens is they'll quickly hop on to another business B, and make a quick conversion, and then you've got the last bit, which is the telling the world about that sale. So this means that business A, who are spending a fortune on marketing, they're pushing that customer directly into the hands of their competition, so way further down the line, and that increases their chance of the sale. So as a sort of loyal customer, you're losing them to your competitors, and you've paid for the privilege of doing that. So the easiest and fastest way to increase your marketing budget is to use your competitors. That's the smartest way. So if you could do that, then you don't need to spend thousands and thousands on marketing. Just use your other competitors. It's looking at the processes of how we can leverage some of those competitors, leverage all that resource into your own business. And the smartest place to start that we tend to work with our clients is at that conversion stage. So have they got a website that converts easily and quickly, and can someone leave a quick review? Because if you focus your time and energy on that, that will then give you the support and resources that you need to then look at the other three areas. So that's kind of our key three sort of focus areas that we would drive people. And so Net will provide a lot of tools and resources. I've got a limited number of free available slots for anyone who wants to see one of these reports for their own businesses. I'd love to help them out and provide them with a copy of this report. So just pop it in the chat, and hopefully I can pick that up at the end of the talk. But basically what it is a dashboard. So you get a glimpse of how your business is performing across those 5 core areas. And it collects all the reviews off Google for your business. It checks out your Google My Business listing. So I'll just show you a little demonstration of one of those reports. So here we have a company, Allingham Games, a local board game company, and we can see how they score. And there's an overall score out of 100%. So it's made up of these 7 areas here: listings, reviews, social, website, e-commerce, advertising, and SEO. And as we scroll through each section, we can quite quickly see what's going on for this business. So we can see there's a couple of social media sites that are missing that should be there. And these scores are benchmarked against kind of the industry average. How accurate are those listings? It automatically picks up that there's 2 phone numbers are missing on Google. Missing address on Facebook. Oh, there's a missing website in Google. So when you start to address all these little issues, obviously that's going to make you found a lot quicker. Reputation and reviews, the number of reviews we found and the number in the last 6 months, because obviously people want to review a recent review. They don't want a company that's had reviews 2 years ago. Again, benchmarking across the industry for this client. And social. So we look at how this pulls the data off Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. People can't find this business on Twitter. So all this adds to that sort of reputation, credibility. So it can be a lot to do, which is why we can support clients with that process. But this report, if you just go back and go into each channel yourself, and just if you've got the time to make sure your website's there, make sure it's readily available on a mobile, address some of these issues, then you're going to be found and you're going to be capturing more customers without a doubt. So a lot of customers I come in, they just don't have the time and capacity for a lot of this stuff. So the snapshot report is just a one-time report that we produce. We also provide clients with an executive report. So this is an ongoing report that changes. So you can actually monitor those improvements you make across your business. So yeah, that's just a really useful tool that we're currently offering to clients. Yeah. Any questions so far, Pete, in the chat?
Hi, Alex. No questions. We've got a taker for your offer. Great. from Andy at weareleanandagile.com. Yeah. Who would like to take you up on that offer?
That's fine. Yeah, I'll send a link through to you, Andy. I've got all your contact details. That's fine. So moving on, more into sort of the software and tech side of things. So I don't know if anyone's come across this site, but I find it's quite a stressful time when you're having to evaluate software for your business. So I turn to G2. G2 is a review site for software. So it could be I'm looking for a specific program to do a specific function. Maybe I'm looking for, let's have a look, for commerce, so e-commerce platform. So I want to know what is the best e-commerce platform, or what is the best payment gateway to use for my e-commerce platform. And what G2 does, so it's just g2.com, we can click a grid and we can quickly populate it with all the well-established and all the market players. So we can see the niche ones and we can see the leaders at the top, and then we've got contenders who are coming up through the ranks, and high performers that are thingy. So we can scale it for suitable for small business. So that could rule out a lot of the competition. We can look at which ones are cloud-based or which ones we need to deploy on our own servers. Select e-commerce platforms, business to consumer, or maybe we're looking for a B2B platform, business to business platform. So with these filters, we can start to see some of the great systems. I notice Shopify is up there, right there with best, and then we've got WooCommerce with quite a lot of reviews. And you can actually go in, have a look at these reviews, and read what other people are writing about it. Have a look at the support, all the things that you need. And then have a demo with it. That's what I tend to do. I reviewed a bit of software recently, and I kind of did about 10 different reviews with 10 different companies, and had demonstrations of all their software, and finally came to a decision. And G2 certainly will help you in that process. But so yeah, use that as a really useful tool. So some of the other sort of great tools that I've been using recently, Asana. I don't know if many of you know about Asana. It works very similar to another bit of software called Trello. And what this does is basically manages all your projects that are going on currently. So you can log meetings, you can come in here, use a template. So I'll just show you a preset template. I'm just trying to think what would be an interesting one for company goals and milestones. I like that, like the sound of that one. So probably designed for a larger sort of corporate setting. I've just created this project. Asana is a sort of a tool that can be used across all your staff. So if you've got more users, you can add users in, so everyone can access different elements of this. And it basically creates a list view of lots of tasks, and you can set deadlines for these tasks and completion dates. So it really just brings your team together collaboratively, and especially at a time when we're doing more remote working, this sort of tool has really sort of come into its own. I bet their sort of number of sales for Asana have sort of rocketed up. I just pay for the free. I don't pay for it. I use the free one because it comes free as part of my Google subscription. But it's a fantastic tool. There's loads of great ones out there. Trello, have a look at Trello. Trello's another one which will produce this sort of Kanban style board where you can just drag a task and move it around. It really does help, and you can visualize stuff into sort of timelines and a calendar mode where you can just see what's going on in your business. I find it really useful. You can set up dashboards, and there's just so many features to it. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but once you've got your head around the basics, a very effective tool. Another small business I was dealing with recently asked me about sort of accounting systems, and I sort of recommended Wave to them. So getting your finances in order as a business is kind of vital. You've got to have your with all your sort of financial data, because that's the pulse for your business. You need to know how much you've got to spend on your next project or your next bit of tool or whatever it is. So I can't stress the importance of really of cloud-based financial bookkeeping. It really is vital. I use a system called Xero, which is a paid-for app. But if you're a smaller based business and you just need a getting started program, then waveapps.com is great. There is a paid version which gives you a bit more, but you can get unlimited invoices. These will all be branded up with your company logo. You can attach Wave to a payment gateway. So if you want to collect money via direct debit, you can do that. Or if you want to take a card payment for any invoices you raise, you can connect Stripe to it. So it's there's so many great tools out there to help you progress in business. And obviously having a cloud-based, secure cloud-based system like Wave is when you come to the year end and your accountant's asking you for that invoice or whatever, it's just so easy. You can give them access to the system. They can go in, they can find what they want to find. They can do year end. So yeah, so I encourage you to check out Wave if you're new in business and you're looking for a financial system just to help you keep organised of your invoices and bills. We also use a system called Bright HR. So Bright HR is for managing staff. So this is a live version of mine, basically. So managing staff holidays and things can sometimes be a bit stressful, and you can end up using lots of Excel spreadsheets and things. So I think Bright HR is very reasonable. It's about £15 a month, and that's as many employees as you want, as many users as you want. And you can use a storage location to put on employee contracts. You can manage holidays, rotas, time on, time off, calendars, you name it, it does everything. And it also links to payroll and other sources of financial data as well. There's some really helpful info with Bright HR. A lot of it's available on their website as well, but sort of back to work redundancy and navigating through furlough, and no doubt that'll be another scheme that people will be using in the coming days. So if you wanted support around sort of getting your head around that, I really encourage you to check out Bright HR as a tool to support you there. Moving on, another system we use is PayCircle. So that's to do with payroll. Again, a lot of these systems all talk to each other, so which is great. So PayCircle generates all your pay slips for you. It can save you a lot of time if you haven't got someone doing that for you already. A lot of bookkeepers use PayCircle. So that's a few of the apps that I've been using recently. Obviously, social media, you may think it's not a vital part of your business, but hopefully the slide deck that I showed you at the start sort of emphasised the importance really of that, shouting about it and those reviews and testimonials. And for social media, I've been using a system called Zoho Social. And what Zoho Social does is it's brilliant. It combines all your social media channels into one central place. So in the dashboard here, we can add more channels. We can add LinkedIn, Google My Business, and any Facebook groups that we might have as well. And we can schedule posts for the future, which is great. So it takes off the burden of social media. We can literally go to a new post. We can choose the channels that we want that post to go to. So if I want it to go to Facebook, I can highlight Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we can schedule it. What day do you want that post to go out? Maybe tomorrow. Let's repeat the post on a weekly basis, or I can repeat the post on a monthly basis. There's so much really functionality in this tool. It's really good. And the best thing is it doesn't cost you anything. It's actually free. So you can attach an image. So there we go. Digital Leaders Week, and then you can pop in your text and schedule that, and that will get sent out automatically. So you can schedule a month's worth of social media outreach, and it will just go boom, boom, boom. All you have to do is come in here and keep an eye on it under Monitor. Monitor basically tracks those channels, so you can see who's engaged, how many likes you're getting. You can also have a look at what previous posts you've sent under the sort of published posts. You can have a look at the ones that are coming up, any unpublished posts. You can have a look at drafts if you've got some that are saved that you haven't finished writing. And you can look at a calendar. So a calendar basically shows you all the posts when you placed it, that when you put them on there. There's interaction with Facebook ads as well, so you can link this to Facebook. Messages, so you've got a direct inbox across all the channels, which is fantastic. So you can respond directly to people. So you don't need to go in Facebook. You don't need to go and then go in Twitter. You can just do it all from one channel, which I think is a real sort of fantastic feature. The monitor fit section allows you to just monitor those channels. You can add more channels or take them away. You can customize this to how you want it. So it's really useful. It's just such a really useful tool, like I'm finding it. Connections, so it tells you who your most engaged people are and on which channel they're on. So that's really good. So if you wanted to talk back to them and thank them for their engagement, you can do that. So yeah, check it out. It's called Zoho Social. The web address is zohosocial.eu. You can also add multiple users, and if you've got multiple businesses, you can have a corporate account which allows you to add multiple different businesses. So I've actually got one for Support Dorset, and then I've got a brand separately for Nettle of Weymouth. So yeah, I just encourage you to check out these tools. They are a time saver. If you thought sort of social media was a real burden, then suddenly it's not a burden when you find the right sort of tools that are going to help you out. So that's Zoho Social. At the heart of a business is a great database, is a card file of all your contacts and customers. So I've been using this one here. This is called HubSpot. Again, you can get free versions of this that won't cost you a penny. So what HubSpot does, it allows me to import all my contacts, or if I make a new contact, then you can see Pete's up there at the top because he's recently contacted us. So anybody who sends you an email, you can basically set HubSpot to grab them as a contact, and that just populates it, which is great. You can also have a look at companies, so you can keep a track of all your companies that you're dealing with. And if you've got a sales pipeline, you can create deals for each person. So yeah, you can just, it's very flexible. It's very quick and easy to set up. So if I wanted to send Pete an email directly from HubSpot, I could do it. So you don't need to rely on your emails, and you can pick up all the emails. You can make phone calls straight out of HubSpot. So if you often have to make the sales calls, you can log them. log the times, set up a follow-up task to call them back in 3 days to remind you. So someone like me, it's great because I'm paperless. I love digital and rely on my diary for what's coming up, really. So a tool like this really makes sure things don't get missed out. We can set tasks, we can set up a Zoom meeting. There's hundreds of integrations for HubSpot currently under the app marketplaces where you'll find some of those. So we've got Gmail integration, Outlook integrations, native integrations for WordPress. So WordPress is a website CMS tool. So you can integrate a HubSpot chat feed in WordPress, which is quite fantastic. So for example, I've done one on webdesignweymouth.com. And as you see down the bottom here, I just accept the cookie. We've got a little chat notification. So these are another great tools that come up. So someone can send me a message and this all gets fed into my HubSpot. So I can then follow that through all the way down that customer journey, which is great. So yeah, if you've got a website, have a look at chat programs. The HubSpot Generate the Widget. If you want another alternative, another one that I use is Talk2, TAWK.TO. And Talk2 is free. It always has been free. Show you how it works. So I'll just log in. It basically generates you a bit of code that you use on your website, and it gives you that ability to have that chat widget on your website. So a couple set up. So I had one for Nettle, and I've got one for Leadeth, which is a kind of another venture, another website, and we can track all those chats. We can come in, see what people have said. We can respond to them. If there's someone live on the website, we can actually monitor, simulate a visitor. So pretend that was someone on the website. Straight away, I can simulate that and see exactly the pages that they were looking at. If they end the chat, I can see it's ended here. So here we go. We've got someone in India is actually looking at one of my websites right now. So if I wanted to engage with them, I could open that up, join the chat, and start having a chat with them, which is fantastic. Yeah, tells me the IP address, the time, everything. It's all really helpful stats, and you get a dashboard as well. So check out Talk2, TAWK.TO, as a really useful tool to monitor the traffic on your website and monitor, keep an eye on those conversations. Any opportunity you've got to engage with a prospect, you want to make the most of it. Right, that takes us on to Leadeth. So Leadeth, basically I was a membership advisor for the Federation of Small Businesses for the last 18 months. And what I was finding is in the role, it involved a lot of door knocking, a lot of cold calling, and I wasn't too comfortable doing that all the time. So I thought there must be a smarter solution out there to gain more clients for the FSB or gain more members. So I looked to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is where your target market is. If you're dealing with businesses, which that's what I was, the FSB are all about. They're all about support for small business owners. So I wanted to target small business owners. So within LinkedIn, you can go to your network. You can do a search for, let's go for a director or owner, or maybe a founder or a CEO. So I've just done a basic search for all those job titles within LinkedIn, and that's what we call a people search. So I can come down to locations and I can say, right, I just want to target Bournemouth today. I need some more clients in Bournemouth, so we'll search for Bournemouth. I'll just close these chats. In LinkedIn, you've got 3 degrees of connections. You obviously got your first degree connections, which is the people you know already in your circle. And then you've got second degree connections. So these are people you don't know, but you're connected with via one person you do know. So there's a mutual connection. So for me, I always tend to target those second degree connections as opposed to the third degree connections, because the third degree are quite way off. The chances of them engaging with you is going to be very slim. So I've got 9,400 results of directors and business owners, my perfect sort of target market. And Ideally, I'm looking to get this number down to about 1,000. If I target, if I send 50 invites per day for 30 days, that's 1,500 results. So a good month's worth of campaign would be sort of 1,000 to 2,000 results. And so what I did is I thought, right, I'm going to need an automated tool that can just contact these people, engage them in a conversation with me, and get them to book on a meeting so I can showcase the benefits of the FSB or whatever it was I was trying to do with them. A lot of people use my tools for working events that they run in order to get visitors through the door. So it could be an invite to an event, but I'm going to just sort of demonstrate the tool, Leadeth tool. This is the Leadeth website, leadeth.io, and there's a little chat thing with me. I don't want to talk to myself now. I'll just go to login. So once we log in, we come to this dashboard section, and the dashboard section is Leadeth's natively connected to LinkedIn through an API. So it's not a Chrome-based browser that will do all the tasks for you. There's a lot of those out there. Be careful with them, because you can get your profile banned, or you can get a cease and desist notice if you abuse the LinkedIn don't really like automation. So Leadeth kind of does it in a humanly way as possible by staggering the messages to make it as realistic as possible. So what I've got here is what we call a search URL. These are my prospects that I want to target. I'm just going to copy those prospects, come into Leadeth, and I'm going to paste them into a search campaign and start targeting them. And that's what Leadeth does. So we've got our searches. This is where it all starts to happen. Created a few searches already, and these are all credible prospects that I want to talk to. So let's just have a look at that list, because there's probably too many there and it will take all day to fetch them. So just go to filters and be specific. Construction industry are probably seeing good growth at the moment, I'm guessing. They're not overly affected by COVID. So yeah, I've got 639 owners of construction people involved in joinery, plasterers, and all those sort of people would be great. So if I wanted to target these people now, I can copy that search URL, come into Leadeth and paste that URL. Give it a name, construction. I'm going to paste the URL there and click search. And this is going to fetch those 639 prospects into Leadeth. So here's one I made earlier, health and wellness in Dorset, 228 people involved in the health and wellness sector. So I get their name, I get the company they work for. Yeah, I get a lot of information. Now I've got these prospects. What I do is I put them into a campaign. So a campaign typically looks like, there's two flavors of it. You've got a messenger campaign, which is just targeting those first degree connections, or we can do what's called a connector campaign. And now a connector campaign is where we connect with those secondary connections, the people we don't know. So for example, I've got one called a Leadeth campaign here. And this is how it all starts. It starts with that invite message, which you would normally have to spend hours typing away on everyone you wanted to start engaging with. So this platform, Leadeth, automates that whole process for you. So here it says, hi, first name. So it populates the first name from the LinkedIn profile. So populate that with the contact's first name. I'm looking to connect with local businesses like, and it puts in their company name off their profile. It'd be great to learn more about your business. And there's also an alternative invite message that's to do with LinkedIn rules. One day later, if they haven't responded, if they have connected with you, you can set up another automated message. So I've got one here, again, thanking them for connecting with me, and it populates it with a web address, my Support Dorset website, just inviting them to have a free business listing and learn a bit more about Support Dorset. And then 2 days later, if we still haven't had a response from them, we can set this multi-drip campaign, this next message we can set the delay whenever we want it. 2 days is quite good. And then 7 days later, I've got another further follow-up message. So the more touch points we have in place with a prospect, the more chances of them responding back to us. So they would either respond back and we would use LinkedIn chat to chat to them, or we would come here to our inbox where we can manage all the connections or the people section. What I didn't say is within the dashboard, we've got some initial profile settings. We can choose companies, so we can have several people working for a different company, and they would only target one person rather than 3 sales reps all targeting the same person 3 times. It can be a bit stressful and damaging for the business. We can specify how many people we want to contact on a daily basis. I got inundated with people at 50 a day, so I brought mine back down to about 20 there just to manage it a little bit better. We can specify the time zone and the days and times we want the automation to happen. And to work on weekends, you can turn it off on weekends as well. If you're away on holiday, we can specify some holiday periods and just tell the system that we don't want any activity for those periods. So that's kind of how our campaign is structured. We'll start to see some prospects. So this particular one is quite a live campaign. What I did is I wanted to target people who are interested in sales and marketing. So I went over to LinkedIn and I found a, let me just log into my right account. That's another one of mine. So you can basically, someone's got a post here and it's got 14 comments and 57 likes. Chris Croft, I don't know who the guy is. But he's obviously a keynote speaker on project management and time management. So that might be a really good person. I might think, right, yeah, let's have a look at this guy. Let's have a look at his post. And what we can do is target anybody that's commented on some of his posts. So 14 comments on this post. If I copy that the post link, I can come into Leadeth, go to search, create a new search. Chris, what was his name? Chris Croft, for example, and it's called a post engagement search, this one here. And if I copy the URL quite quickly, I can now grab all those prospects who engaged with Chris. And what that means is when I'm doing my marketing, I'm engaging with the right sort of people straight away. So the funnel is quite tight. We've got rid of a lot of the nonsense and we're just engaging with the sort of people that we want to talk to. So that's proven quite useful for a lot of companies that we've been working with in how they target people. Yeah, so as soon as it's fetched all those profiles, they'll appear here. There's a process. Yeah, Leadeth. So once we have an inbox here as well, which mimics exactly everything that LinkedIn does. So it means we're only in one platform. We can send reply templates back to the people. So Nikki is talking about a campaign. She's come back to me, which is great. So I can enroll her in the next message. So she'll get the next message and that will go automatically into the task box and send out to her shortly. So that's the Leadeth platform. Yeah, really, a lot of businesses are finding it useful. We've been working with a lot of business coaches who are trying to get new clients, people that run events, and webinars, trying to get clients to their webinars. So it can be quite an effective tool for whatever your business is. If you've got a product or service and you're selling it to a business, then LinkedIn is the smart place to be doing that marketing. Hope you guys found